Yo, what's up, YouTube? So I decided to make this video because right now we're in October, and I think October is almost finished actually, and then we'll be November, December, and then January, and in 2 months of time, I will be considered a two-year lifter. So I will hit that milestone of working out for 2 years, which is pretty exciting. And so I decided why not make this video in advance. And I know 2 years is not a lot, right? There's people that have been doing it for 10 plus years. I think one of my subscribers has been doing it for 15 plus years. So that's a massive amount of dedication, right? So I think David Lade is also. How long has he? He's been around for a long time. I mean, he really changed. He changed a lot of things, really. It's kind of like Z's almost, right? Z's. And then you had a whole entire era, and then also David Lade. So that guy's been around for a long time, right? Massive respect to him because he's been doing it for so long, and that's one of the things that really motivates me. And I think that's one reason why I'm able to be this consistent so far. And that's the one thing that's been driving me is if I think about that for if you think about that for a second, how many people do you know that have been doing something for a consistent amount of years? That number is compared to like a general population is probably not very high. It's almost like kind of like an athlete almost, right? There's only like a 0.1% of people who are athletes across the world. So having that kind of title is a pretty impressive feat. So that is one of the things that kind of motivates me is, and obviously that's like that's more of like the competitive side of me, where that's pretty motivating to me, knowing that I've accomplished something that very few people have. But obviously that's a competitive aspect of mentality, and that's the kind of type of mentality that you kind of have to have when it comes to stuff like this, right? Because really, even when it comes to a lot of people say this when it comes to gym and weight training, when it comes even though the 225 bench is standard, I still think it's pretty difficult, man. I mean, my max is like 180, so the 225 is still really going to be a difficult challenge for me. For some people, their challenge is probably maybe now 315, or let's say getting to like a low body fat percentage, right? There's only been a select amount of people who have hit those numbers and have been a low body fat percentage. And I think the reason why is because those milestones and those goals are not something that you're going to be able to accomplish by stepping in the gym for a couple of months. Those goals are probably only going to be something that you're going to be able to hit in maybe a couple of years, right? Some people they hit the 225 in a year or maybe 2 years. Some people might hit in 3 or 4 years. Some people never end up hitting it, and some people are like, "Who cares?" Right? Because really, some of those things don't matter. For some people, they do matter. Depends on what type of person you are. If you're a competitive person, then you probably care about that. If you're not that competitive, yeah, probably who cares, right? So different goals and different personality types depends on what you want, depends on where you want to get to. So everybody has their own goals. Same thing can be said with success, right? Uh, success is a very broad. I don't know what you want to call it broad definition because success can mean many things. There's too many. There's too many things that you can be successful at. So success really, in my opinion, doesn't have one true definition. It's multiple things, right? Because everybody's version of uh, success is different. So that's the reason why when it comes to your goals and your progression in the gym, it's gonna be really you versus you, right? It's not really about the other people in the gym. Is not when I first stepped in the gym, I was the same way as well. When I first stepped in the gym, I never really looked at anybody else like his competition, but it really the opposite for me. I just saw it as motivation. When I saw guys who were benching these crazy numbers and they're like jacked and shit like that, they have a crazy looking physique. That's pretty motivating to me. But originally, I remember when I first started as well, I had a really negative view of social media influencers because I always envied a lot of these guys, because I look at these guys and like, man, these guys have the crazy looking physique. They have all the girls. They have the nice cars. And when I started weight training myself, that's when I really started to what's it called? That's when I really started to respect them a lot more because I understood how much dedication, discipline, and the lifestyle of training that they took in order to get to where they are. So that's the reason why I don't have that level of envy before when it comes to social media influencers, because that's the only problem with that as well is the general public perception of, let's say, an athlete, a baseball player, a hockey player, a soccer player, a swimmer, or someone like that, right? Someone, oh, maybe not a swimmer. I'm not sure a swimmer would make as much money as like a baseball player or a hockey player or whatever, or a football player. Um, but for the most part, the general public, when you look at the athletes, they just see a guy that is running around hitting a soccer ball and he gets paid millions and millions of dollars. And the thing is, if they were to try to become a soccer player themselves, they would be in a very, they would have a very rude awakening, like a little, like a slap in the face to realize how difficult it actually is to become a soccer player. Because I'm sure there's things like divisions, there's different leagues and levels to it, right? Maybe you're at like an amateur level, and then maybe you get to like national level, maybe, and then you're versing against other countries and stuff like that, or you start off as like semi-professional, and then you become full professional. And once again, right, you also have to remember that you're competing against other athletes around the world, so you're competing essentially against the best of the best, and that's something. I guess that's the reason why I like the title, and why I like the title athlete is a very prestigious title. It's almost like a PhD or doctor. Some people don't really care too much about the titles and the status. That's the reason why there's a lot of doctors that say they don't refer to themselves as doctor. They don't like to use the title of doctor, even though they've put all that effort and time and dedication and years of getting that title. They don't like to use it. But at least for myself, some people care about it and some people don't. But for me, that's the reason why I like and why I like that and respect the title of athlete, because it's very, in my opinion, it's a very elite level that only a few percentage of people around the world can have that title. So it's a pretty impressive feat. Um, it's a pretty impressive feat to have. And another thing that I will say is when I was doing a job application, and one of the questions it asked me was a very strange question because I've never been asked this question before on a job application. But it asked me, what are your accolades and what are your accomplishments? And I haven't accomplished anything too crazy so far in my life, so I left it at blank, right? Because I don't have any crazy accolades or any trophies or medals or anything. So I kind of left it blank, and I don't know. I guess that's the one thing that makes me excited, because it makes me think about what my potential is. Because in one way, you can kind of look at a perspective like it's kind of depressing. Like, I haven't really what have I done with my life? Have I accomplished? I don't have any medals or any trophies or any accolades. Um, but at the same time, if you flip it around and you look at it through a different perspective, it's kind of scary, but also kind of exciting, because you don't really know what your potential is. Like a Mike Menser esque, because he had a whole entire, I think, speech or statement about that, where he said you never know what your true potential is unless you try. So when it comes to being something like that, like let's say you want to be like an athlete or like a bodybuilder or anything, it doesn't have to be like maybe like a singer, or artist, or musician, or whatever, astronaut, whatever you want to achieve. There's this level of uncertainty that's there, and you don't really know whether or not is it going to work out. And I guess that's one reason why a lot of people don't end up following through with their dreams and things that they want to achieve, because it's really risky. Um, Becoming and trying to becoming something like an athlete is very difficult, because it probably takes very years. It takes years to reach the level of being a professional, and you don't even know if you're going to get paid a decent amount of money. People say the only people that make a lot of money when it comes to playing sports is like the top percentage. So you have to be like the very, very, very top percentage in order to get that paycheck, at least so they can at least make a living, right? So that's the risk and reward ratio when it comes to trying to achieve these things. Even people say when it comes like bodybuilding itself and bodybuilders, right now, currently, a lot of bodybuilders get paid a lot more compared to back then. And I think that's because of social media and stuff, right? That's a good thing about social media, at least, is a lot of these bodybuilders now, they can start their own YouTube channels, like kind of like Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead has his own YouTube channel. There's multiple streams and sources of revenue, and you have things like brands and supplements and companies and things, and many people that can sponsor you. So that's a great thing, at least, is now these athletes can get paid a lot more, right? So that's very exciting. It opens a lot more opportunity and windows for people that want to maybe head in that direction of becoming a bodybuilder or something like that, right? So that's but that's also another thing as well, is when it comes to working out. Like, we'll use my example of myself when I say, because my goal right now is trying to get down to 15% body fat. I don't really know what I'm going to look like at 15% body fat, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get there, right? I'm in the process of trying to get there, but I don't know what's going to happen, and that's how working out is, and that's how, like, let's say you have a dream physique. You don't achieving your dream physique. You don't know how many years it's going to take, and what exactly you have to do. Well, you know exactly what you have to do to get there, right? Like, you have to the gym and follow a certain and have a certain amount of years in order to get there. But really, it's you don't really know. That's the whole entire point of the gym and the progress in general, is you don't know if it's going to work out, if you're going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve, and that's the scariest part. The only thing that you can really do is trust the process, and that's the one important thing, and why on my specific channel, uh, when I post my physique a lot. Even in this video, I'm going to post my physique, because I know that's what gets the most clicks. And so there's a giant emphasis on the physique right now. The physique matters a lot for a lot of people, but in the process of getting your physique, your dream physique is over here, and then you're over there. But in the middle of it is the training, because the training is the most important part, because that training is how you're going to build that physique. So I know a lot of people don't like training, and training is very uncomfortable, and it sucks, because it does suck. Dieting sucks as well. It's very restrictive. When I go grocery shopping and it's Halloween time and I see all the candy and chocolate and I can't eat any of it, it sucks, right? So training and dieting and this whole entire process of getting to where you want to be sucks. But as long as you're willing to accept that, because really what it is you're just making sacrifices. I know some people are kind of like finicky when it comes to that. But one thing that I've kind of learned through looking at people that are successful is, I even had a whole entire conversation with one of my friends. I think that it takes a certain person and a certain mentality that you have to have in order to reach different levels of success, right? Because let's say a lot of people or use the word average, and there's like been a lot of negative connotation around the word average. And you have people that are below average, and you have average, and then you have above average, and then you have people that are really, really successful, like millionaires, like billionaires, or like athletes, the top 1%. But these guys that are the top 1%, there's a massive gap between the top 111 or the top 0.1% versus the people that are above average. There's a massive gap between those two, and the thing, in my opinion, that separates them is the mentality aspect. Because the mentality, they call it like a winner's mentality, or it's like an athlete mentality. Like, let's say Kobe Bryant. It's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother. Um, it's a mentality that you can really only build if you're an athlete, and that's the reason why I say, and why I used to envy a lot of social media influencers, but then that changed when I started working myself, because I realized how much dedication and how difficult it actually is. So that's, I guess, where I want to get with this video as well. Is mentality is an important aspect. I'm very blessed because I have a goal-oriented mindset, and I'm somewhat competitive. So for me, I naturally just want to. Well, obviously, I'm not a lifetime natural, you guys know, but I'm naturally, I'm naturally like to push myself. So I'm blessed in that scenario. I'm always never satisfied, which is both a gift and a curse. But I'm lucky like that, I guess, in some cases, because I always want more. Um, but hey guys, I think I've rambled, and I've probably rambled a bit too long. But that is one takeaway I will say is when it comes to whatever your goals are in the gym, and you want to start weight training yourself, it's never too late. It's never too late. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 25, 30, 45, or if you're even younger and you want to start younger, like 17, 16, whatever, man. I say, in my opinion, go for it and shoot your shot. And it's never too late. It's always up for grabs, and it's up to you. So I'll leave it at that.